I'm live, it says. Okay, I guess I'm going live. So, hi, my name's Sean, and I'm going live today. Hopefully, I will answer some people's questions out there about federal prison. I deal with the camps mainly. I know something about the lows. I don't know much about the penitentiaries other than that I don't want to go there. And if I keep doing what I've been doing, I don't ever have to go back to prison. Um, so, I got this live stream going, and I've been watching videos on YouTube on how to notify people when you go live stream, and I still haven't got it. I got to watch a few more videos because you got to cut and paste three different things, put them in the settings. And anyway, wow, it says two people are on here. So, guys, I'm here to answer any questions you might have about federal prison camp. If you're going there, if you've been there, if you don't want to go there, if you're just curious. Um, so I'm gonna read. I get like, God, I got hundreds of comments on my channel. So until I get some questions up here, let me just see if this is working. If I type in my name, okay, yeah, it's working. Okay, so yeah, and apparently I got super chat. See what that works. But yeah, so I got the 1,000 subscribers now. I guess I'm officially a real channel. So let me see. I got a question here from Evie Lau. So I'm going back. A lot of these questions are maybe a month or two old, but um, they're questions other people haven't heard, and I think I've answered all you guys, but I'm going to answer them live until I get some real questions from live audience members. So this says, I got 1 year and 1 day sentence. Is that mean the surrender straight to camp? Well, normally you can surrender straight to camp. You need to ask your judge on sentencing day if you can self-surrender. Because if you don't say anything, they could just handcuff you right there in the courtroom and remand you, and they will take you downstairs to the marshal's office, and they'll take you over to the county jail or the federal detention center, and you will sit there for weeks, and then they will come and shackle you up and put you on Con Air and take you to Oklahoma City and unshackle you there in Oklahoma City, and then you will wait weeks until you go to your destination camp, whatever that is, and then they will shackle you back up, put you on buses and maybe Con Air again. And when you're on Con Air, I mean, you're not going to be able to use the bathroom, especially number two. You're handcuffed the whole time. It's hell. It's just a living hell. And then finally, you get to your destination camp. So always self-surrender. Always ask the judge on sentencing day if I can self-surrender. And usually, a sentence of a year and a day, they're always going to let you self-surrender. Well, I'm not going to say always, but normally small sentences like that, you're going to a camp. And usually you're out. If you're watching these videos and you're on pretrial, you are probably going to a camp or a load because they don't let the guys that go to the penitentiaries are usually locked up in a jail during their whole sentencing time, unless they've got, $1 million to put out on a bond. Let's see what the next question says. I got one from Lockjock Jr. Is camp for only non-violence? Basically, yes. Non-violent in the last 15 years of your history. So if you have any violent charges, now guns are not necessarily considered non-violent. If you're using the gun into crime, they consider that violent. But if you had a gun in your closet, you had a gun even in the trunk of your car, it was registered, it was legal and all that, they don't consider that a violent crime, and you could go to a camp. If you've done anything like assault on an officer, that's definitely violent. Anything if you've got any domestic violence charges where you beat your wife, hit your girlfriend, and it's within the last 15 years, you will not go to a camp as far as I know. Now, we had a guy at the camp. We all found out later that he was a wife beater, but he had some charges. They were like 20 years old when he was at the camp, and that changed everybody's mind about this guy. We didn't like him. We didn't respect him because he beat the hell out of his wife. We heard it. How we got this information, I don't know, but word got around, and people find things out about you. got a question from Miguel Lupian. I talked to Miguel, and I think, did he already go in? I need to call to see if he went in already. Says, hi, I got sentenced to Florence camp, and I'm serving 28 months. How long you think I will be there? Oh, yeah, he did go in. I remember I talked to him before he went, because he went to where I went. So he got 28 months, and if I remember right, he was Rdap qualified. So when Rdap can give you up to a year off, but in his case, if you got sentenced between 24 and 30 months, you get 6 months off. You'll also get 6 months halfway house. So out of the 28 months, you can take a year off for that. His good time would be 2 months for every year, maybe 5 months there. So he would get 17 months out of 28 off. That's 11 months. And if he times it just right and gets there right when Rdap starts, he can, because Rdap's going to be 9 months. If you get there a week after Rdap already started, you got to wait till the next 3-month session, because Rdap, every 3 months, they start a new phase. They have phases 1, 2, and 3. So you need to time it right. And if he plays his cards right, and I think we talked to him about that, he'll be out of there in 11 months on a 28-month sentence. So that's not bad. I got a question. SWID, SWID. Hey, man, I'd like to talk to some... Oh, I got roommates here, and I heard something. Hey, man, I'd like to talk sometime about sponsorship. IDK. I don't know. Maybe if you're interested, please let me know. Sponsorship about what? AA sponsorship? Yeah. So yeah, let me know. Let's see. Yeah, I'm reading my reply, and that's what I said. I don't know what you mean by sponsorship. AA sponsorship? Or maybe you want me to sponsor a product and sell it on YouTube. Not sure. But get back to me. I'm interested either way. I am in AA, guys, and I have a sponsor, and yeah, I go to meetings and all that, and there goes my anonymity, but I don't care. I just can't tell other people's anonymity. Okay, here's one from just says D. Rules are more laid back at camps. Everyone is 1 foot out the door. Most are parole violators, short timers, so they will go straight to camp. Well, everyone does have an out date. It's 10 years or less, and there's not parole violators or short timers. Well, there is no more parole in the federal system. They did away that in the 90s, I think, but they do have probation. So I got out about a year and a half ago, and they gave me 3 years federal probation. I got about a year and a half to go to get off that. And there are some people that come back and violate. I've seen a guy come back 2 different times for violating because he came up on a dirty piss test, and they gave him 6 months. And I understand they usually send you right back to the same camp that you came from. I'm in California. They would send me all the way back to Colorado for dirty piss tests. I'm peeing in that cup every week still, guys. But that's because I live in a clean and sober house. I think my probation officer only wants me to pee in a cup once a month, but I do it once a week. The house manager here does it, and then they send the paperwork off to my probation officer, and that way I look good, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to violate, so it keeps me on my toes. Let's see here. Darren Reed, your videos have been very informative. Thank you, bro. Yeah, you are welcome. Here's one from John Narducci. This guy was an inmate at the ADX. I saw him on somebody's show, 23-1 maybe. And he says, Merry Christmas. My name is John Narducci, 1360. Oh, he gave his number. I was actually in the ADX, and you likely made my food. Glad you're home, too. Yeah, and I remember he saw my video about working at the ADX Supermax, where I worked my way up to a cook over there. And yeah, I made food for the Unabomber and the Boston Bomber and all that. I was cooking some of their food and making their trays. And I mentioned how good the food is at the ADX. And when I saw this guy, John Narducci, on that show, I think it was 23-1, maybe it was Lockdown. might have been count time, might have been count time, one of those prison channels. And he even mentioned that the food was good at the ADX Supermax. Those inmates got nothing but time. So if the food's not good, they write up letters of complaint, and the guards, the guards actually read their letters, and they go through the system. They'll write up the prison, they'll write up the food, they'll write up the guards, and they go through a series. They got all the time in the world, so they'll take it all the way to the top. So the guards that I worked with on the food line, man, they made sure. I mean, there was no slopping over, or nothing over the edges on the trays, no slopping. It was good quality food, lots of spices and herbs and everything. And, like chicken day, man, they got a quarter piece of chicken. We did fried chicken, we did baked chicken. They got real sliced roast beef on a roast beef night. I mean, hamburgers, good hamburgers, not no nasty pink slime burgers. No, we got real hamburgers. They were 80-20, but I mean, all the food at the ADX Supermax was not pretty good. And all the guards ate the same food. They would come, all the guards would come and grab the same food. So let me see here. I'm still waiting for questions. It says I got 7 people online. So, guys, any questions you want to ask me about federal prison? Like I said, again, mainly the camps and the lows. I don't know much about the penitentiaries, but so I'm going live here, and we'll see how this goes. Maybe this is just a quick 10-minute video. I'm going to see. But I'm waiting for some questions from you guys out there. Junior Buffalo says, I think they are putting me in the medium. I'm nonviolent, but the 10 years will put me in the medium. Is that true? Oh, the 10 years will put you in the medium? No. 10 years or less, you can go to a camp. 20 years or less, you can go to a low. Mediums are all kinds. I mean, yeah, you can get 2 years and go to a medium, but that's usually because you got a violent history. He says he's nonviolent, and he's got 10 years. You can probably go to a camp. I mean, I need to know a little more about your case, but potentially, yeah. I've seen a lot of guys come in and they got exactly 10 years, or they got 8 years, 8 to 10 coming into the camp. The average time in the camp, guys, is about 5 years. I don't know where. I mean, yeah, there's guys getting a year and a day and stuff, but that's not average. 5 years is average. I got 4 years and 4 months, 52 months. That's a little below the average. Maybe 3 to 5 is average, but a lot of guys come in there with 8 years and 10 years, and they're 70 years. They're 70 years old when they get there. They're going to be 80 when they leave. Oh, here we go. I got a question. Your friend Darren. Hi, Sean. Love you videos. Me, Matt, love your videos. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, ask me some questions, though, too. And, all right. Yeah, I mean, I started making all these videos because before I went to prison, I was searching YouTube for, like, nonviolent prisons and white-collar crimes, and I knew I was going to camp. At least I thought I was going to camp. At one time, I had 4 different lawyers. They kept switching them on me, conflict of interest. So I had, like, people on my caseload, my co-defendants, co-conspirators, or conspirators. Anyways, a couple of them told on me, and they switched lawyers, and they still got time. One of them was my ex-girlfriend, and I think she even wore a wire one time. But anyway, so they kept switching lawyers on me, and the last one said he didn't even know if I was going to medium or camp. The last one they gave me was worthless, but the first 3 were good. The public defenders were good. Here we go. Alan Scott, waving hi from Cincinnati. Hey, Cincinnati. All right. WKRP in Cincinnati. All right. Alan Scott, I think I might have talked to you on the phone, or at least I know I've answered some of your comments. So let me see here. And I'm going to read even if I have some bad comments on here. There's some haters out there. I'll read those too. I'm not gonna. I'll answer you. Gene McKee says, "Love it, Sean. Keep up the good videos." Oh yeah, I said I was. Well, I started making these videos because there's not a lot of information out there about camps. I got a call the other day from a guy. Just found my videos. He goes, "I was searching for federal prison camps." He goes, "Your picture kept coming up." And I watched the video finally, and I called you. There's just not a lot of information out there for My prison world. My prison world is like the nonviolent people, the nonviolent personalities, the nonviolent crimes, and that includes drug dealers. Half the camp's full of drug dealers. Here we go. You friend Darren. Your friend Darren. Okay, now I get it. My sentencing date is 4/6. I hope I will go to a camp. I hope you will too. So 4/6. That's April 6th. You're getting close. You should already know your sentencing date, not the date you're going in. So your sentencing date is April 6th. So the first thing you want to ask your judge is that, can I self-surrender? Please don't get shackled and go to Oklahoma City. You want to make sure you self-surrender. I mean, even if it's for 2 weeks out, they'll usually give you up to 90 days to self-surrender and get your affairs in order. But make sure that. And then so I got some videos about self-surrendering, and I got probably 4 of them out there. But if you look on my channel, I just did one. There's 12 things that you need to prepare for when you're going to prison. I mean, everything from what you can bring, what you can't bring, and it's a really good informative video. So watch that video. Angie Stubblefield, Dublin, a camp closed. Rdap. Yeah. Dublin, there are no Rdaps in the camps, at least for the men. Now, Dublin's kind of a women's facility now. I think they used to have some men at the camp there. But if you're going to a camp and you want Rdap and you're in California, you got to go somewhere else. The closest one is Sheridan, Oregon. I went to Florence, Colorado, and I got to pick that. Also, so Darren, you can ask where you want to go. A lot of prisons have programs that maybe you want to take, that you don't necessarily have to go to one close to your house, and you want to find one. Hopefully you got Rdap, so you want to find a camp that's got Rdap, and you could pick the one you want to go to. Your friend Darren says, I watched all of them. Okay, so good. You watched all of them. And if you got any, Darren, you can always call me. My number's on there. We could talk and or email me and all that, and I'd be glad to help you out, man, because I'm trying to pay it forward. Some guys helped me out before I went to prison. Walt Pavlo was one of them, and Rdap Dan. And I didn't pay for these guys. And I'm not charging anybody. A lot of these prison consultants charge $10,000 for a phone call, man. I'm free. Man, it helps me. It keeps me from going back to prison. It's the one thing I could do is help out the next guy that's had to do what I did. Buck. Hello. Hello back. Wow. So I got 6 people watching me. That's a big deal for me. That's a really big deal for me. And I haven't figured out how to do the notifications and let people know that I'm going live. Like I said, I got to watch these self-help YouTube videos that tell you how to live stream, and I'm old, guys, so I got to watch how to edit a video. I got to watch the thing 10 times in a row, because it's saying click here, use this filter, do this, do that, but it's too fast for me. I'm slow. And I thought I was a computer genius before I went to prison. Wrong. I was good enough to go to prison. Buck, I just found your channel. I'm headed to prison myself. Fed time. All right, Buck. So I got a lot of helpful videos out there. You're going to federal prison. I hope you're going to a camp or a low. And I don't know much about your case. I don't know how much time you're facing. If you got 10 years or less and you're nonviolent, there's a good chance you're going to a camp and you would be safe there. It's not a dangerous place. There's no gangs in the camp, and there's no politics, and there's no paperwork to show, and all that kind of stuff. Angie Stubblefield says, now I'm worried there are no programs for halfway house time. I wasn't a good candidate for Rdap anyway, but with a 30-month sentence, I hope there is something to get some time off at Dublin Women's. There's no programs for halfway house. Well, there's the First Step Act has a lot of programs. So supposedly, for every 30 days you do in some kind of a program, you get 10 days credit towards halfway house time. You wasn't a good candidate for Rdap anyways, but maybe you still can be. I don't know if it's in your PSR. There's something called a pre-sentencing report. and there's a little section in there for alcohol and drugs. And if it says in there that you have a drug and alcohol problem, that gets you into Rdap. And if you don't have that on there, the feds usually pay for you to see a therapist, like once a month or once a week. I had to go see one, and you tell your therapist you had a drug and alcohol problem, and you have them write up the paperwork, and you attach it to your pre-sentence report, and that can get you into Rdap. Buck, I'm being extradited. Was fugitive for 6 years, facing 30 now. Fuck. You're being extradited. So you were on the run for 6 years. So they will add 2 years to your sentence for an escape charge. That's not you, though. You were just on the run. You hadn't done yet. You're facing 30. But you're out now. So I'm wondering, you must be on like a $10 million bond. Let's see. I've been to federal before 20 years ago. I did 18 months. I got a little idea about things, but I'm sure they changed in the last 20 years. Yeah, Buck. I mean, it used to really be a club fed. Now it's just kind of it's not the same. But it's better than a penitentiary. Let me see. I'm not sure. I don't know if you God, man, I hate to really hear that. You're facing 30 years now. Maybe meant 30 months, but normally they don't let you out on a bond when you're facing 30 years. I wish I had a little knew more. Let me see. Angie says PSR only lists weed. That's good enough, Angie. Weed is a drug. That's good enough. That should get you in. Angie says, fuck, buck. Okay. But my question is, I won't be eligible. Angie says, so sorry to hear that. Buck says, I won't be eligible for camp since I was a fugitive. Yeah, you're right there. You won't be. But you can still get up to a year halfway house credit with a First Step Act if you take other programs. Buck says, correct. Angie says, I forgot about the First Step Act. Thanks. Buck says, I meant 30 years. Yeah. Angie said, oh, goose and good. Oh, wow. 30 years is a long time, even with your good time. What's that? You're looking at 25 years. But what I'm wondering is, a long sentence like that, I'm surprised you're out free. You're not free right now, but you're on some kind of a free trial. I just usually you're locked up in a county jail waiting to get sentenced if you got 30 years laying over. So, I mean, they first told me I was looking at 11 to 15 years, right? When I first got indicted. They know when it went down, I ended up getting 52 months. So hopefully it's going to go down. I mean, they'll give you some scary numbers at first. And I'm sure you said you've been in the feds before. You know that. I hope it goes way down for you. That's a long, and I don't know how old you are, because 30 years could be a life sentence. Bucks. I'm in a different county. I was pregnant when I was arrested by Interpol. Oh man, Interpol. And the law, when you're pregnant here, they do have to let you out. I was at a halfway house in San Francisco, and on one of the floors, it was for pregnant women. But they kept them kind of on tight wraps. They didn't really let them go out much. They'd get a weekend pass every now and then, but yeah, they did let them stay out of the county jail. Let's see. I'm on a house monitor ankle bracelet. Yeah. I hope your sentence goes way down from 30 years. Yeah, I don't know the charges and all that. That's a long time to do, and I feel for you. Yeah, 30 years. I mean, I wish I could wave a magic wand and give you 5 years. Man. Angie says, does halfway house help us get job after we get there? They do and they don't. Most of the people in the halfway house already have jobs, and they'll hook you up with their companies. There's also listings on the wall. There is a job counselor at a halfway house, and sometimes he has jobs he can send you out to. So when I got there, a lot of people were working at this place called St. Anthony's Dining Room, and it's a place that feeds the homeless, but they paid $19 an hour, and they had different sections you could work in. And the dishwashing room needed like 5 guys. And so and there was a bunch of guys that worked there, so they got me right in, and it's $19 an hour to wash dishes. I was making 12 cents an hour washing dishes in prison, so it was a big step up. And it depends what city you're going to. I was in San Francisco, where there was lots of jobs when I got out. Now, restaurants are closed, things have changed with the pandemic, but hopefully things will be back to normal. But there's usually always some kind of jobs for people in the halfway house, and you usually get them by the other residents that are there. The halfway house wants you to work. They want you to work. As a matter of fact, if you don't find a job within a month, they'll make you go do community service, and they'll make you do that. But because they told me if I don't find a job within a month, I got to go feed the homeless at this other homeless shelter for no money for 6 hours a day, and they wouldn't give me any more privileges to go look for work, and they pushed me. But at the same time, they said we've got jobs for you. First, try to find one on your own through the other guys that work here. If not, come back to me. My job counselor said, and we'll find something for you. So, but that was San Francisco. That's a big city. If you're in the middle of Wichita, Kansas, I don't know. Let me see. Buck says, I'm 40 years old, man. I'll take 10 happily. I hope you get 10. Yeah, I understand that. Angie says, so not too hard to get job, worried about that. No, Angie, it won't be too hard to get a job. Buck says, how can we contact our family while in prison? Do they have video calls now? Some of the prisons have the video calls. So if you go on the BOP website, and it has a list of all the different prisons, so you can call each one and ask. It's really the only way to find out. And then you ask your judge if you can be sentenced to that prison. Angie says, okay, thanks. Your friend Darren says, is everyone eligible for halfway house, or is it only for people in the Rdap? No, everybody is eligible for halfway house or home confinement if you've got a home. So the halfway house is for people that really don't have a home. Rdap kind of gives halfway house to anybody. Once you get to the halfway house, then you can ask to go do home confinement. But there's guys, even the guys that do a year and a day, they'll get 1 month halfway house. If you're there, let's say you're doing a 10-year sentence, they might give you a year halfway house. And a lot of people, not a lot of people, some people don't want the halfway house because, for one, there's not a lot of halfway houses like there used to be. And let's say you live in, I don't think there's any halfway houses left in Oregon, so you have to go to Washington State and live in that halfway house. Let's say you get sentenced to 2 months halfway house and you live in Portland, Oregon, but they're going to send you up to Seattle for 2 months, and then you got to come back home. Plus, the halfway house is, it's kind of like a work furlough jail. It's better than prison, but a lot of the rules people don't want to live by. They only let you out you get an hour a day for a little rec pass to go, walk around the block or something like that. You can get a weekend pass after you've been there about a month. You got to earn those, and then you can go to work, and basically the rest of the time you're locked up there, and they got rules. They're going to breathalyze you in the middle of the night. They're going to make you piss test. I'd be waking up at 3 a.m. to go pee in a cup. A lot of guys don't want the halfway house, so they just rather do the time at the camp, and I can understand why. There's different reasons why. Let me see some more questions here. Your friend Dan, is everyone eligible? Oh, yeah. Buck says, email, how much to use email system? How long have you been out now? Well, Buck, I've been out about a year and a half now. So the email system is 10 cents a minute. It's 10 cents to read your email. It's 10 cents to send your email. So it can add up. If somebody sends you a 5-page letter, and that's going to take 15 minutes to read, that's cost you a lot of money, but you could print it, and it's $15 15 cents a page. So if you get a 5-page email, it's cheaper just to print the pages, 15 cents, and I think you get 2 pages on one. So it might cost you 30 cents to print it up, but then you can read it on your own leisure. But you got to type fast, 10 cents a minute. It adds up. That money doesn't come out of your commissary. The money doesn't affect your commissary. So let's say you got $150 every 2 weeks you could spend on commissary. That doesn't change. That email is different money from your account. Let me see. Was a name I made when I was on the run. You can call me Melly. Okay. All right. Yeah. So the email system. What else? Oh, it's called TrueLinks on the inside. It's called CORRLINKS on the outside. So when the way the email system works, there's all the TV rooms and the law library and the regular library will have these little terminals, and they don't do much. It's got a little keyboard and it's got a little screen, and they don't do a whole lot, but you can check your messages from the prison on there. They send you little special messages, like to go see your counselor or something. But you can go on there and email people, and there's maybe ours had probably, I'm going to say there was 50 terminals throughout the whole camp, and we had 500 inmates. So there's usually never a wait time for them. When you email somebody on the outside, the first time it'll go to my Gmail. It'll say I have a message from an inmate at a correctional facility, and it's called CORRLINKS. I open up CORRLINKS, then I gotta go. I gotta sign up for CORRLINKS and get a username and a password and all that. Now, from that day forward, every time I want to see if I have mail, I have to go on the CORRLINKS website, punch in my username, my ID, and see if there's a message. Or you can get an app on your phone. It's $6 a year, and it's called CORRLINKS. Let's see if I'll show you on mine. I got it on here. So $6 a year, and if I'm gonna punch it here, and then it shows up. This is CORRLINKS, and if I have any messages, I just punch this button, and it tells me. And so I get messages from a guy named Jonathan that went in, and I just punch it, and his email comes right up. And then if I want to send it, there's another button, and I can send him a message. It's $6 a year, and that way, when an inmate sends you an email, it goes right on the person's phone. So it's a good investment. Let's see, buck. Okay, good. It doesn't affect commissary. Yeah, it doesn't affect commissary. Does the change program get you time off, or just Rdap? Does the change program? I don't know what. I don't know what the change. Does the change program get you time off, or just Rdap? The change. I don't know what you mean by the change program. You mean the First Step Act program? Or just can you ask me again? I'm not sure what you mean by the change program. 1% biker. That's cool. All right. Daddy, why don't you love me? Come back to me to prison. All right. That is what it is. I'm not sure what to make of that. Let's see, but it was a religious. Oh, there are some religious programs, and they count for halfway house time. Yeah, the change program. I think it's called something else. The ones I've heard of, there are a few of those. Some of them are 2-year long programs. Some are just a 90-day classes. But so if you took the 2-year program, that would entitle you to 1/3 of that. That would entitle you to like 7 months halfway house time. The most you can get is a year halfway house time with the First Act program. They have a limit. So, like, let's say you're doing a 10-year sentence, you can't do 5 years of program and get 2 years halfway. The most you can get is a year. Let's see. Maybe it's not there no more. It's there, but or Melly. It's there, but it has different names. John Cucina, how's Jonathan like Devon's in considering it myself? I'll read you the latest email. To have my lawyer recommend the camp. I was in FMC Carswell in Texas. Okay. I'll read you one of Jonathan's latest CORRLINKS letter, TrueLinks letter. Here. So here's what he says. He sent me this on the 13th. Today is the 18th. So I got this 5 days ago from Jonathan. I've gotten accustomed to being here and am committed to making the best of my situation by improving myself over the next 8 to 9 months. I'm working on a workout routine to lose weight and gain muscle, and I'm in the beginning stages of it. Today I did 100 push-ups, 5 reps of 20, 100 squats, 5 reps of 20, 100 crunches, 5 reps of 20, and 10 laps around the track. Damn. I have cut unnecessary carbs and sugar out of my diet as well as liquid calories and replaced them with more protein and water. As a byproduct of having to quickly adapt to a prison environment, I am learning more about responsibility, respect, social etiquettes, and conserving and conversing with people from all different backgrounds. We have many inmates here in our camp with master's degrees and PhDs who made mistakes just like I did. As the youngest inmate here, I'm taking initiative to learn all I can from others' experiences. I made friends here who are helping to mentor me to be stronger and smarter. I am reading every day and preparing to go back to college and finish a bachelor's in cybersecurity degree by studying course material ahead of time as it gets closer to my release. I will work on lining up work in Silicon Valley where I want to build my future. My self-improvement journey is being documented in a memoir that I am writing called Redemption in Club Fed, which I am looking forward to publishing when I'm out. The book would be dedicated to everyone by name who has stayed with me throughout this journey. That's what Jonathan's been doing. That's quite a lot. He's inspired, man. Yeah, he's inspired. So the kid's 23 years old, you know, and he'll be out 6, 7 more months, and he's actually coming here to the halfway house in San Francisco. So I'm gonna take him under my wing, help the kid out, and you know, I made a friend, you know. So if anything my channel did was help this kid out and turn his life around and get out of the criminal shit he was into, because he was kind of like me, tweaking on some meth and doing little computer scams, trying to get some money off, you know, government and stuff like that. And you know, I got off the meth. I quit the tweaking scams. You know, I got rid of all those friends. I'm doing AA now. I'm clean and sober. You know, I gave up trying to rip off the government and all that stuff, and just, you know, earn money legally, turn my life around. And that this kid was headed down for that because I ended up in prison. So, you know, there was a time I was running around trying to cash fake $20 bills back in the 80s, and you know, I was just setting myself up for prison, you know. And I got off the drugs, and you know, I'm trying to do better now, and hopefully my videos help guys. That's the kind of criminal stuff I did, you know. So I wasn't, that's not violent, but you know, anyways, it's behind me. Let me read some more of these. Buck says, what email do you have in prison? Oh, I was just telling you guys, TrueLinks. It's called TrueLinks and CORRLINKS, which I just read. I don't know why there's 2 companies. TrueLinks is the one that the feds use on the inside on their little computer terminals. It says TrueLinks. Then when I receive it, it says CORRLINKS. So I don't know why there's 2 companies. Can you get time off for Rdap change program, or just, oh, we did that. Just one program. You can get time off for multiple programs. They all got to add up. So here's the deal, though. Every 6 months, you get a review. That's where your counselor, your case manager, the unit manager, or sometimes the associate warden, they all sit in a room with you, and they review what you've been doing the last 6 months. That's when you cash in those first step credits. So it's only every 6 months. Somebody else told me every 3 months they're doing some kind of reviews. Where I was at, it was once every 6 months. So, and that's when you cash, that's when they reevaluate you and tell you, okay, well, looks like we can give you 2 more months halfway house now, you know, and then when you go back in 6 months, maybe get another 30 days added to your halfway house. Let's see. What about writing a book in prison? Do they allow it? Yes, they do, like publishing it and such. I got a story to tell being on the run for 6 years. So in the law library, you're going to find all these guys writing books. I don't know why the law library is popular for writing books. You can write your own book. They have typewriters you can use. You got to buy your own little ribbon for it, and you got to buy typewriter paper, which they sell. They have printers and copiers there, and they even sell stuff to bind the book together. You go through the hobby center. You got to talk to one of the recreational guards over there, but they can hook you up with even binding the book there. And there's publishers that work with prison inmates on the outside. If you Google up publisher, inmate publishers, help with inmates for publishing books, something like that on Google. You can set up yourself with these self-publishing companies that wait for inmates to write the book, and they'll help you and correspond with it. Yes, you are allowed to write books. If you're writing a book on how to escape prison, they're not going to let you write that book in there. How much time did you do? I did 52 months, but I got sentenced to 52 months. I got 8 months good time, 5 months halfway house, a year off for the Rdap. I did 27 months at the camp, 5 months halfway house in San Francisco, and that ended in December of 2019. How have the drug laws changed in the last few years? Oh yeah, that First Step Act has really changed them. So it used to be you could get the crack cocaine and the powder cocaine laws used to be really fucked. You know, the same guy that's got an ounce of powder cocaine had an ounce of crack rock. The guy with the crack rocks was going to go do life. The guy with the ounce of powder cocaine, you might get a year. Well, they've changed all that with this First Step Act, and they've totally. It's a lot more fairer now. That's one thing they did. They have changed it, and now marijuana is becoming legal in half the states now. So you know, the drug laws are really getting better, much better. Darren says, Sean, do you think the camps on the East Coast are very different from the West Coast? Yeah, they are, because you got that whole New York attitude. Hey, what are you doing, man? You know, what are you looking at? You know, you get all the, you got the wise guys. You got all that New York kind of, what the fuck, yeah, you got that kind of thing going on there, So, but I hear some of the camps on the East Coast are plush. You got a lot of Jewish guys that go to these camps, and a couple of them have golf courses, not one or two courses, but there's one with a swimming pool. Somewhere in this country, there's a camp that has a swimming pool still. Buck, I mean, what email will I use? My current email, or do I have to have a new one? So when you get to the camp, they're going to assign you a TrueLinks email. So, like when I get this one from Jonathan, it's a CORRLINKS app. So it's got his whole name at CORRLINKS.com. You won't be able to use your Gmail in prison. You can have somebody send you. I could cut and paste your Gmail and then send it to you. If you got somebody outside that could do that, you can kind of correspond your email. But when I did so, like 27 months at the camp, and when I got out, I was still able to access my Gmail and my Facebook, but I couldn't remember the passwords. So one of them, they actually made me send in a copy of my driver's license to Facebook so they could reopen my account. But apparently, your Gmail lasted for years. I don't know if that's your kind of questions. John Cucina says, my friend did time at Camp Otisville in New York. He said, don't even bother going to halfway house. So I hear what you said. It's sometimes better to finish in camp and screw the halfway house. Yeah, and they're in bad locations, man. I was in the Tenderloin, man. You got homeless tents, camps right outside the door, people shooting up drugs, shit everywhere, feces, all that, hypodermic needles all over the ground. A real bad, unsafe neighborhood. I mean, there was guys that get mugged before they even get in the building. And it's a really bad neighborhood. So yeah, you got that too. David Feldman. I was in the camp from 2012 to 2015. Were you at Florence, Colorado? What camp were you in, David? Buck says, no, not crack. My drug was an analog. Okay. John, which camp, David? David Feldman. Was Dominic still there, a.k.a. Brooklyn? Colorado. I'm from the Brooklyn, too. John Cucina. In from Phila, Florence. Oh, Florence. So, let me see what you were there till 2015. Yeah, I got there 2017. Dominic, Brooklyn. I don't remember a guy called Brooklyn. We did have a guy called New York. We had a guy called Vegas. We had a guy called Tex. Everybody has these nicknames. I don't remember. Wait, No, that was Philly. I was gonna say there was Philly. Brooklyn, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he was there anymore. There was a guy called Philly we used to call. Um, yeah, it's funny how you get these nicknames in prison. Um, I never got. I don't think I ever got one. Um, let's see, Florence from Phila. Okay, all right. Thanks for all these questions. All right, let me see if I got. Till I get another question. Let me see here. I'll read one of these comments. Here's one that's not so good. It says, work on that intro a little bit. It's a little fast, but I like your channel. All right. You know, this was 3 months ago. I only had this channel for 5 months, guys. I'm still learning how to edit. I don't even know if people I'm still trying. I'm still learning. Still learning how to do all this stuff. Uh, Here's one from Angie Stubblefield. He means it. I called him because needed someone to talk to. Great. Oh yeah, Angie. I talked to her. Is that the same Angie that was on here? Let me look. Angie. Oh yeah, that is you. I thought your name looked familiar. If you're still on there, Angie. Yeah. Call me back anytime, Angie. Yeah, it is you. Okay. Cool. You're not in prison yet, which could be good or bad because I know you want to get it over with. Nobody actually wants to go. Let's see here. Was Miss T still there? Food service. Yes, Miss T. Miss T was cool. Big Miss T. Miss Taurus. Yeah. So Miss T, she was I worked on the line with her, and you know how at the 80X Supermax, and the first time I was on the line, she told me she kicked me off because if you're not fast enough, she don't want the line being held up. But she gave me a second chance, and then I did real good, and I never got kicked off the line again. But Miss T told me she had so she got married. She married an Irish guy, Mr. Sullivan or something like that. She got married, and then she said the guy had 2 stepdaughters that hated her, and she hadn't had a drink in 25 years. And then she came in. She told me in the break room that she goes, "I started drinking again, Sean. His 2 daughters are they're like evil stepdaughters, and they drove me back to the drinking." And she goes, "I know you go to that AA meeting." She goes, "Can you give me some information about AA meetings out here in Colorado?" I'm like, "Well, you're the free one. You could just go Google it, man. Why are you asking me?" But so she decided to go try AA and get off, stop drinking. And apparently, she quit on her own. But yeah, that's the kind of conversations you have with guards there. You find out about their families, their daughters, their husbands, and a lot of the guards marry each other and stuff. Because the Miss T married a guard from another prison, but she married a guard from a state prison. You know, there's 11. Where I was at, there was 11 prisons. It was Fremont County. I heard there was 11 prisons. That's the women's prisons, the juvenile prison, the different levels of state prison, and we had 4 prisons on our complex. And all those guards, they all that whole area there. It's prison guard city. Let's see. Angie. Oh yeah, hi Angie. Dude, you rock. Bottom line, mad cool. Thanks, John. Sean. Okay. Oh, John. Oh, now I know who you are. I didn't read. Yeah, that's John. The cooch. Hey, John. Hey, how the fuck are you, John? What the fuck are you doing, huh? Huh? You wanted me? You looking at me? You talking to me? You talking to me? This fucking guy. That's John. Yeah, he's cool. You rock too, John. This fucking guy. Yeah. Now I know who you are. The name didn't click. Your friend Dan, do you have to work? Can you just spend the whole day in the law library or something? No, you don't have to work. They want you to work, but guys know how to get out of it. I got a bad back. Tell the doctor, they'll write you. Sometimes they'll give you a desk job. A desk job might be sitting there rolling silverware. It might not be what you think a desk job's going to be, but you don't have to work. There's all kinds of ways to fake it and get out of it. But you might want to work. I wanted to work. I didn't want to work when I first got there. 12 cents an hour? How dare you? After 2 weeks there, man, give me a job. So, yeah, you're probably going to want to work, though. But you don't have to. You can lay around and watch TV all day long and do nothing. But, Make something of your life when you're there. Turn it around. You know, if you're not into work, a lot of guys work out 4 hours a day and stuff, but you can better yourself. There's lots of classes and programs to take at night classes. There's these ACE classes. There's usually 5 or 10 classes during the week going on at night you can take. There's programs in the day. You can do programs instead of working. Like, you know, so the Rdap is one program, but there's other like educational programming ways to get out of work. There's the 7 Habits program that I was in. You didn't have to work. There's those religious programs. There's ways to get out of working. Let's see. Angie says they extended my surrender from February to July. Extended your okay, and you're still going to Dublin, Angie? Because you know you could change that. It's not too late, I don't think, to change it. You have to request with the judge. You might want to, and I think you are Rdap. If you have weed in your PSR, I think you can get the Rdap. Buck says yes, they make you work. Well, they try to make you work. There's weasels. There's guys know how to weasel out of it. John says I've been on pretrial over two fucking years because of the COVID. Still no sentencing date. Yeah, it fucking sucks. I was on it for 4 years. I know what you're going through. Buck says I've been dealing with extradition 2.5 years. Man, Darren, John, same here. But my sentencing date is coming up in 2 weeks. Yeah, sentencing date, Darren. Hey, you might want to give me a call before you go to sentencing. We want to make sure you self-surrender for one. You don't want to get shackled up there. There's a bunch of things you should know. You need to get ready to talk to that judge at sentencing day. That's the day the judge is going to hear from you. That's when you want to talk from the heart. A lot of guys write a speech and they got this letter that they're going to read to the judge, and he's heard 1,000 of those letters. When you go in front of that judge, that's the one time only that judge is going to hear from you. Okay, and that's the day you got to tell the judge, look, I know I'm here to get sentenced. So you're not trying to make excuses for the crime. It's too late for that. You're there to get sentenced. So now you got to convince the judge, even though I did this crime, Your Honor, can you go easy on me? I'm not that bad of a guy. I've done some things to change already. Here's what I've done, Your Honor. And, you know, I know you got to sentence me, but can you go easy on me? Because that's when you got to talk to the judge, man. You might want to call me or watch some of my videos, and that's the big day, and it can make a difference. The judges in the federal court system can change their mind. They can give you probation instead of 10 years if they want. And the state in state prison system, the judges usually just listen to the DA. A federal judge can do what he wants, and they usually do. So your sentencing day is something you need to talk to your lawyer about that too, and you know, there's a lot of preparing for that day, and that's the day your weight's going to be lifted off you. I mean, you know, when they gave me the 52 months, thank you. He could have gave me 20 years, and I would have said thank you. At least I know, you know. Now I can go on with my life. It's a big day, sentencing day, so I understand. Let's see where I'm at. Man, I love this. I got so many questions I can't keep up. Wow, I can't wait to get going. Shit driving me crazy. Glad your sentencing is coming up. Good luck. Yep. Darren says my plan is to work out, read, and write. That's a good plan, Darren. You can do that. Angie says yes. Darren says John 4-6. I'm from New York City too. Darren says I wrote a personal narrative letter. Don't the judge going to read that before sentencing date? No, that's usually the letter. So that's usually the letter. How should I say? There is one you can send to the judge beforehand. And the judge sees thousands of these. Also, there's character reference letters that your friends and family send. There's the personal narrative letter that you write. I recommend when you talk on sentencing day, you don't use that letter. You can memorize it a little bit, but talk from your heart. Don't sit there and read a letter to the judge. It's just my advice, and other people's too. And some of these prison consultants out there that charge you $10,000 for this personal narrative letter that they think so important. The judge has seen 1,000 of these things. That's why you need to just speak from your heart. Personal narrative is okay to write, prepare. And yes, the judge is going to read it along with 1,000 other things he's reading that day, and he's going to skim through it and put it in a pile. But on sentencing day, you get a chance to talk. They also give your friends and family a chance to come up to the judge and talk too. So besides writing them letters that are done ahead of time, I hope that helps. John says, Darren, you're going to try and go to Lewisburg, Otisville. Lewisburg has Rdap. Thanks to Sean helping me figure out. Otisville doesn't in camp, at least doesn't have it at the camp. Yeah. So when you go on the BOP website, a lot of times it might say medium facility, low security, and camp, and then you read more about it, and it says that there's Rdap there, but that's Rdap at the medium or Rdap at the low, but not at the camp. And especially if the camp has like 170 inmates, it's a little satellite camp. It might not have Rdap because they got to have at least enough inmates. So when I was in Rdap, we had Rdap usually has 100 people in his class. It has 3 different phases: level 1, phase 1, 2, and 3, and they split it up amongst 100 people. If you got a camp with 140 inmates, they're not going to probably have Rdap because they need a lot of those inmates to work in the kitchens and do the jobs. And 40 people can't work for the 100 people that are in Rdap. Although sometimes you're in Rdap and you have a job as well, don't get me wrong. But the little camps just don't even have the money for Rdap. So the smaller the camp, the less programs you're going to have too. I was at probably my camp held 500. It was usually around 400. Now you could go to Sheridan in Oregon. I think they have 700 or 800 inmates there. Lompoc in California is a camp, and they have 2 camps there. They have like an east and a west side, and they have a big farm you can work on, and they have a dairy farm. And I think there's probably 1,000 inmates in that camp, but there's no Rdap there. But if you're not Rdap qualified, I mean, you could go to those big camps. But the bigger the camp, the more programs. That makes sense. And the more programs gets you more halfway house time. Not every program is a first step qualified program, but most of them are. And I don't know if I've done the video on First Step Act programs that are available, but I know it's on the BOP website. I think it's in my links to my descriptions underneath. Let's see. Buck says, did you have a lawyer when you paid? Yeah, Melly, right? When it comes to getting a lawyer, the federal provided one, the ones that they provide you, work just as hard in my experience. Not to say that's always true, but there's not much a federal lawyer, there's not much a paid lawyer can do different than a federally appointed lawyer. In the state system, yeah, they're making wheels and deals with the DA and the prosecutor, and they're all sitting at the bar. And if I buy this next round of drinks, I got 2 guys. Can you get them off? And all right, well, I'll buy you that round of drink. And then we'll give that guy the 5 years. And they're wheeling and dealing. In the federal system, it's kind of up to the judge and the sentencing guidelines. And they don't have all that training going on. I mean, there's always some. And if you're a big movie star or a politician, you got a little more wiggle room, But I don't think any of you guys are politicians or movie stars. So you're kind of stuck with the 96.4% conviction rate. And there's not a lot of wiggle room. So that's when it comes to the judge and the lawyer that you're going to get. Is really, there's only so many. They only have so much power. They can't really make a deal. And I hate to tell you that. So save your money and get a court-appointed lawyer. Usually they'll give you a court-appointed lawyer, but I started off with a public defender, which I think was better than the court-appointed lawyer. And they don't have a lot of caseload like they do in the state. Because I've done some little time in county jails, 30 days here and that got busted on it with a quarter gram of cocaine in the 80s. And they gave me a little public defender, and he's got, 500 caseloads. He's got 22 people he's got to represent in court that day, and he's got 5 of them sitting in the bench outside the lobby of the courtroom, and he's just running down. And the federal federal public defenders don't have a big caseload like that, and plus, how long it takes going to court. It's all spread out. 4 years pretrial, John. 2 years. It takes forever. They're slow. So save your money. Hopefully, you're not spending $100,000 on one of these so-called federal criminal defense lawyers. There are some good ones. I don't know their names. I've heard there's some good ones, but for the most part, save your money. I hope that helps. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to give legal advice. Definitely definitely go to a lawyer for legal advice. The last thing I want to do is give you guys any advice. I'm just trying to give you experience. I don't want anybody to, take my words for advice, and you get fucked in the end because of Sean. No, I don't want to do that to you guys. Let's see here. Melly says, I'm not gonna have a lawyer. They took all my money, and when I ran my paid lawyer relinquished herself from my case. Okay, yeah, that happens. So when I before I got indicted, my house got raided. If you guys don't know, I did false tax preparations. So I filed taxes, and my customers were like homeless guys, drug addicts, and hey man, I can get you $2,000 on a refund. Just let me fill this out for you, but I want 20%. It started like that, and then got into 100 people, 200 people calling me up. So they raided my house, and there was 30 SUVs, black SUVs in front of my house. And all the neighbors had nowhere to park that night, and they were there for like 6 hours, just going through every drawer in the house, everything. They took everything out of the house. At the time, I had little money. They froze all my bank accounts like 2 days later, and I didn't know that, or I would have went to the bank and took out what I could. But I hired a lawyer for $5,000, and this lawyer, all this lawyer did was, I guess, put me at ease because I hired a lawyer. But when it came down to getting indicted, the lawyer said, "You're on your own. I'm not going to represent you in court." And she said, "Unless you got $100,000." But she says, "I think that $5,000 I took from you, you made you made that money illegally in the first place." And she goes, "I don't even know if I should have took it." And she goes, "But I'm done with you." She goes, "Go get a public defender." So I know the feeling. Melly says, I'm fucked already. Oh man. 1% biker, daddy, treat me like a whore and say how useless I am. All right, I hope you're happy with that, 1% biker. Go troll somewhere else. That's a troll, I guess. Melly says, they saying my analog drugs are equivalent to 3,740 kilograms of marijuana. I got a chart here. I got a chart here on the weight of drugs for marijuana. So there's 5 severities for your crime, from low to moderate, high, and greatest. So for marijuana, for moderate marijuana, greater than or equal to 25,000 grams or 25K. What was yours? 3,000. So it's not moderate. Low to moderate is less than 25K, which is you. That's low to moderate. So this is to find out your custody level if you go to a camp or low. And so far you're low to moderate, and I think that's 3 points. You need 50. You need 11 points or less to go to a camp. And okay, so yeah, so you got, if this helps, it's 3 points in your custody level. So once you get sentenced, then they got to figure out where to send you. And I know you have your sentencing guidelines, and that's from 0 to 43 points, and that could be anywhere from 1 day in prison to life sentence. That's your custody level points. And that's your sentencing guideline points. Those are the points that figure out how long you're going to do.
But then where you're going to go, that's your custody level. So you're under 3 points. So you need 11 points or less to go to a camp. Women, that's different. I think it's 15 points or less to a camp. So you're definitely going to a women's camp. You don't have to worry about that unless you have violent charges. I don't think you're a violent person. So, Buck, my drug was 5FPB22. Don't know what that means. And I have one prior and currently 4 more charges. Oh, but because I ran, I won't get can. Oh yeah, that's right. You did. But you can get a low. With women, it's a little different though. So you might, the Orange is the New Black show. That's kind of a low that they're in. That's not a camp because there's always, I've seen a fence around there. So I think you can get the low. They're going to give me 17, so I ran. So I imagine I'll get. If you run, I know it's 2 years for an escape charge, but running and not showing up to court, I don't know if that counts as the same thing as an escape. The drug I'm being charged with is 5FPB22. I don't know what kind of drug that is. Is that some kind of ecstasy or something? 5FPB22. I don't know that one. Mike Smith says, "Hi, friend." Hi, Mike Smith. So I've been on here an hour already. Man, it's 2 o'clock. So guys, yeah, I'm probably gonna wrap this up. It's been an hour. If you guys, I'll wait a couple more minutes. If you have any more questions, and I'm gonna put my number up here, guys. My phone number, real quick. So if any of you guys want to call me and talk more, sometimes it just helps to talk to somebody who's been through what you're going through. Because I know our friends and family, they don't understand. I'm on pretrial 4 years, and people go, "You're not going to prison." They don't let you just run around and walk around and all. If you were gonna go to prison, you'd already went. Bullshit. I told everybody when I got sentenced, I called people up and said, "Remember when you said I'm going to get probation? Well, I got 4 years, so fuck you." I mean, I felt like saying, I told some people that. So you guys, I understand. This 1% biker guy better not call me up. I'll block you in a heartbeat anyway. So, Buck, it's synthetic. It's synthetic cannabinoid. So that's that K2 stuff, the spice. Yeah, they're cracking down on that. They have been. I don't know. Marijuana is legal, and they're cracking down on that. Yeah, okay. So I was in prison with the guy, we called him Vegas, and he had that stuff selling in stores, and he kept changing the chemical compound on it. He was trying to stay one step ahead of the law, but he got 5 years, and he had quite a big amount, and he got 5 years. Maybe you'll get 5 years. Mike Smith says, "What was the best thing that helped you get through the night?" Oh, in prison? Well, I mean, you have an out date. You have it in a camp, it's 10 years or less. It's probably known you have an out date. You know what I mean? But do you have I don't have WhatsApp. Sorry. Yes, K2. Yes. But I have a phone. So I'll put my email on here too right now. There's my email. Exactly what I was doing. I had stores. The stores made 1.8 million. Okay, so the guy I know, Vegas, he had stores. He was from Vegas, and he had this stuff. He didn't own the stores, but he had his product in the stores. Yeah, and he got 5 years at the end of it all. I hope that's all you ever get. I mean, I hope, we don't want you to go anytime, but hopefully they won't be more than 5 years on you. And your friend Darren says, "Is there a limit of visitations you can get?" No, they just opened up visiting too. The 1st of March, it's back now. I think they're taking like only the first 25 visitors. So a normal visiting room could hold 100 people. So the first 25 people that show up to visit you. But no, I've seen guys have 8 people in there from their family, and then they leave, and then later on 2 more people come to visit. And there was guys when I was in there. There was visiting on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. 3 days. Now it's only Saturday and Sunday, but some guys had a visitor all 3 days every week for a year. So yeah, but it's a first come, first serve. The visitors have to sign up, on the outside and get on the list. So if your visitor's quick to sign up, yeah, there's no limit. And Mike Smith says, so is your out date the same as a person waiting for retirement? It could be sometimes. Can you download WhatsApp? I'm not in America. I can't call you, but I'll love to talk about some things. I could try. I don't know what that is. I heard of it. I have no clue what it is. My email's there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what WhatsApp is. I could try. I'm not gonna do it today though. Darren says, how long is each visit? Visiting hours were from like 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So 8 hours. And was that 10 hours? And some people's family sat there all day long. I don't know what you're going to talk about with your family for 10 hours in a room. You're at a little table with them and stuff. And they have vending machines that sell kind of 7-Eleven type food, hamburgers, hot dogs, roast beef sandwiches. There's microwaves there, and there's a coffee machine. But I mean, and some guy's family came every day to visit them. And what do you talk about after all that time? But yes, you can do that. Bucks is it's a messaging app, more live in real time than email. Okay. Yeah, you can't call my number. I don't know why you can't just dial my number, but I have a Facebook. Can you call people on the Facebook? Just look up my name, Sean Calgill, on Facebook, and you could, and that part of the app's turned on, and has the video call or the regular call. So if you go on my Facebook, try that way. The WhatsApp thing, I don't know when I'll get around to it. I'm some of this technology, guys. I don't know how to do Snapchat or Instagram yet. I'm YouTube and Facebook guy, and I'm in my 50s, and not all this new stuff is new to me, so I'm not there. Sorry. Oh, type your name. All right, here's my name. And I'm on Facebook there, and there should be a way to call me from Facebook. I'll check into the WhatsApp thing, but I'm still learning how to edit. And anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, all that stuff. Okay, all right. So guys, I'm gonna end this stream. Thanks a lot. I'll be back next Thursday. I'm gonna do Thursday's live stream for now, and if you have times that you think are better, leave it in the comments. Let me know if Saturdays work. I can do more of these live streams. Okay, guys. And yep, thank you, guys. All right, and Johnny. All right, man. Bada boom, bada bing, John. All right.